Hey everybody, Last Cat Badger here. So, somebody's released something awesome and new and brand spanking fresh out of the oven. I bet you won't guess who it is. Come on, guess. Just guess. Guess who it is. Guess who it is. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Guess who it is. Guess who it is. And it's actually a little bit of something I know a little bit about, but probably can't talk too much about. Did you guess yet? No? No? Okay, well, two ladies. Count Dankula! I probably blew some eardrums with that one. Count Dankula, absolute mad lad, yeah boy. The ISIS hunter, Abu Tahsin al Salhi. Dude. Another thing or two about ISIS hunters. Y'all ready? I'm ready. Let's go, Count Dankula. I just noticed. I just noticed Count Dankula is that a Rough Rider's hat, or is it like a Stetson where he bent one angle, or is it just the regular felt one, right? But let's go. All right, y'all ready? Y'all ready? I'm ready. Let's go.
Sniping's a good job, mate. It's challenging work, out of doors. Plus, it's a really difficult skill to master. It can take many, many years of practice to reach the level of a professional sniper. But every now and then you get a prodigy. You get someone who is just so good at it that the enemy learn his name. And they start treating him like he's the boogeyman and thinking of him every time they poke their heads out from behind cover, wondering if they were in his sights. And they usually were. Abu Tahsin al Salhi, the terrorist hunter. Please leave a like and a comment on this video because it really helps me in the algorithm.
Love Count Dankula's intro. Love it. I need to find a way to make some kind of cool intro thingy. Or maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just stick with what I'm doing. I don't know. You let me know in the comments.
But before we get started, this video is brought to you by Raycon. With Raycon earbuds, you can greatly enhance your listening experience with incredible quality. Quality is great, they aren't bulky, and they are, my word for it, online star reviews. So if you want to get some top tier earbuds while also supporting my channel, then click my link in the description as Ali Jihad Oba.
So yeah, link to Count Dankula's video will be in the description box down below. So if you want to take advantage of that, Raycon advertising thingamabobiners, yeah, the link will be in the description box down below. It'll say original video, and then there'll be a link next to there. It'll be to this video. I think I'm pointing the right way. It'll be that way. Anywho, let's continue. Let's go.
Abu Tahsin al Salhi was born as Ali Jihad Obaid al Salihi, I can manage to actually get through that, on the 1st of July 1953 in Basra, Iraq, as part of a Shia Muslim family. And that's all we really know about his early life.
So he's from Basra. Yep. So many things possibly you could say about Basra. Good food, though.
During the 1970s, Al Salhi travelled to Kuwait and ended up working in numerous different jobs while he was there. And two of them were shepherding jobs, where he looked after a large amount of cows and camels. Now, the job of shepherding is quite boring at times, so instead of just sitting around and staring at the herd, Al Salhi used his French protection rifle to hunt rabbits. It maybe wasn't too obvious to him at first since he had no frame of reference, but he quickly learned that shooting was second nature to him and that he had immense natural skill and accuracy. A lot of shepherds don't really have any need for a firearm, but because criminal gangs like to steal livestock, it was essential for Al Salhi to have one.
Any time you're out in nature of any kind, you do need some form of protection. So anytime you go out into nature, be armed, be ready, know how to use your weapon. All right, train on your weapon. Know what kind of things that may or may not engage you where you're going, right? Do some recon. Look, y'all, I'm going to repeat this ad nauseum. Ad nauseum. Seriously. Safety and security. Never compromise. Ever. No matter where you are. That being said, let's continue.
He loved shooting and he kept the rifle with him as much as he could. A talent like that obviously has a place in the military, which is where Al Salhi went to next. Partly because he wanted to put his impeccable aim to good use, and also because of his patriotism and will to fight for his God and his country. But when he was asked why he joined the military, Al Salhi would simply say that hunting was his hobby. Al Salhi was trained by Russians in a Belarusian sniper school, from which he graduated very quickly, and surprisingly came second in his class. Al Salhi didn't want to just wait around after he had graduated, so he immediately signed up to be deployed in the Yom Kippur War, also known as the Ramadan War in 1973, and he was stationed to fight against the Israeli Defense Forces in the Golan Heights as part of the 5th Mountainous Brigade. He very quickly got used to the discipline and lifestyle of the military, which he said felt very natural to him. A year later, he became part of another conflict, which was the Second Kurdish-Iraqi War. He joined and liberated many provinces in Iraq as part of the Sadir Brigade. But during his time with the faction, he didn't feel like the position he had within the group was to his liking. So he again set out to try something new. So now Al Salhi went where he was needed, even fighting in Saddam Hussein's war against Iran, which later led to him joining the invasion of Kuwait, which was against American and British soldiers. And we all know how that ended. So now Al Salhi needed a new target, and there was none bigger than the Islamic State. In 2014, Al Salhi joined Liwa Ali al-Akbar, better known as the PMU, the Popular Mobilization Forces 11th Brigade. Al Salhi joined them as a volunteer, and he finally felt like he had found his niche. This was the right place for him. He was stationed in northern Iraq in the Makul Mountains, inseparable from his 6-foot-long anti-material rifle, an Iranian variant of the Steyr HS-50 caliber, called the AM-50 Syad. Now, anti-material rifles are not your standard sniper rifle. They are...
Anti-material rifles are essentially used against armor or armored targets. Hell, if you're good with it, you can even use it to try to take down you can use it to try to take down a rotary wing aircraft. Anti-material rifles are like that. And also it's technically illegal, according to the Geneva Conventions, to use anti-material rifles. If I remember this correctly, it's technically illegal to use anti-material rifles against human beings because it's considered inhumane. Which every function of war is inhumane, so I don't like the stupidity of the stuff they come up with. Like, it's a bunch of people, for the most part, who've never been to a battlefield. Most of them have not been to a battlefield. They have no idea what that shit is like. But they're making rules for the rest of us who've been to combat. Yeah, really dumb. Really dumb, really stupid. But anyway, let's continue.
Are very, very, very powerful. Their job is doing things like penetrating concrete barricades, breaching the armour of armoured personnel carriers to hit the men inside of them, and disabling vehicles by shooting through the engine block. That's how powerful these rifles are. But Al Salhi was not using this rifle on vehicles and barricades. He was using it on people. Now, without being too graphic, if a person takes a direct hit from an anti-material rifle, well, there's not much left. This rifle is so powerful that allegedly, even if you miss the person that you're shooting at, if the bullet passes close enough to them, just from the kinetic force, it will still kill them. During his time with the
It can. It's not always a guarantee, but it can. It most certainly can. It's crazy. It's so crazy how powerful these things are. But yeah. And I've seen both ends of that, right? I've seen guys get, like really, really screwed up by rounds that big, just passing them by. And I've also seen guys like where a round passes, you don't know the exact distance because it goes by so quickly, that they're okay. So it really depends on how close of a miss that comes to, right? Just but stuff's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But a direct hit, you're talking like vaporization of like, essentially, if someone hits you like dead center mass with one of those rounds, maybe they'll find your arms. Like, maybe. But yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Just and pretty soon here we're gonna do a few videos on military stuff because I haven't done that in a while. But yeah.
faction, Al Salhi impressed everyone and anyone that came across him, and he became someone that the younger recruits looked up to and respected. Al Salhi was popping heads left and right, which earned him 2 titles among his faction: the Sheikh of Snipers and Hawkeye. He was like the boogeyman to the Islamic State, a myth that they all told to each other around the fire. They were so scared of him that news of him even spread to the leader of the Islamic State at the time, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, who was so shaken by the feats of Al Salhi that he placed a bounty on his head of $250,000. Al Salhi had a very recognisable look, which, let's be honest, is badass as fuck.
The dude is essentially using an anti-armor weapon against human beings, right? There's pretty much no cover you could take from that thing. Even if there's like a building between you and him, if he knows where you are in that building, he can still hit you with that round. Now, yeah, some people are going to, comment on this and be like, well, it depends on the thickness of the walls and blah, blah, blah. But most of the buildings that I saw, it's not to the same exact level as you would find in like a bunker, right? It's nowhere near it. Like, heck, regular rounds like 7.62 and 5.56 could go through them suckers, right? 50 cal would go pretty much through several walls. This weapon you could probably go from end to end. Depending on how far away he shoots from and depending on what type of round he's using. So yeah, but absolute insanity. Just imagine that there's like, okay, think about the United States, right? And you're in like a somewhat suburban-ish neighborhood, right? And there's like, I don't know, like every 20 feet there's a house, right? Let's say there's like 5 or 6 of those houses back to back. That weapon has the potential to go through every single one of those houses. That's what the potential for that weapon is. It's so ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it's meant to penetrate like really dense like material. It's an anti-material rifle. That's its whole design and function. And so, you know, a MATV, an MATV, or heck, that thing could probably shoot clean through a Humvee, even the up armored ones, right? Um, but a MATV, if he like hits the ballistic glass on that sucker, it's probably gonna go right through. So yeah, just but speaking of which, I need to put some more I need to put some more brick and mortar and concrete around my house, honestly.
He drove an off-road motorbike, and a lot of the time he wore a black and white checkered scarf with fingerless gloves. He has also said that he has to be completely relaxed whenever he is shooting, and that his gun is so powerful that his enemies often get knocked back by a meter or two whenever he lands a hit.
حلو 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 صلوات على محمد حلو.
However, if Al Salhi ever missed the shot, he would take that as a sign from God that he wanted the target to live. But Al Salhi rarely missed. Professionals have standards. When Al Salhi was asked about how he felt about killing people as part of his job, he responded by saying, "I don't feel a thing." And then he goes on to say how his God has blessed him with good eyes and a natural skill at shooting, and that the people he is shooting at mean him and his family harm. And that when it came to killing people as a profession, only his God can judge him for it.
He's not wrong. Plus, you should never feel bad for actually like ending, evil or bad people, right? In Islamic State, ISIS or ISIL, whichever ones you want to call them, or ISIS-K in Afghanistan and stuff like that, they were not good people. Not by any stretch of the means. Although, hilariously enough, some of the media dressed up some of the people that, were part of ISIL as good people. They're not. They're absolutely not. Heck, they called one of them an obscure scholar. Okay. So yeah, of course he wouldn't feel bad. He's defending his home and family, and they're coming to kill him and his family. So why should he feel bad about that? Of course, you get a lot of people who are going to be like, oh, well, one person's terrorist is another's freedom fighter. Like, that's just how it goes. You can't blanket statement apply that to everybody. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. If someone's life is dedicated to the pain, suffering, destruction, and death of others, they're not a freedom fighter. They're not a good person. They're an evil human being. And they deserve what those of us who would go against them would give to them.
Al Salhi had a couple of good stories to tell when it came to gunfights with opposing snipers. One time, Al Salhi was actually helped by a bird. He was on the hunt for an enemy sniper when he noticed a bird circling a date palm tree. But why wasn't the bird landing in the tree? Birds really like dates. I wonder what could be in the tree that was making the bird not land there. Al Salhi spotted the sniper hiding in the tree and dealt with the problem. Another time, Al Salhi got the upper hand on...
That has more to do with his situational awareness, his critical thinking skills, and his combat experience, right? Because you have to think he's probably come across so many different, he's probably experienced so many different combat scenarios to where now his situational awareness is a second nature. He's always doing sills. Constantly doing sills. He's constantly trying to look, smell. You know, if someone's smoking something, he knows that there's somebody nearby. Or if they're cooking something, he knows somebody's nearby. You know, like look, listen. He's listening. He can hear where the sounds of gunfire are coming from. He might have an awareness of where his allies probably are, where the enemy probably is. He knows how to make the distinction between the two. He's very good with PID, right? So when it comes to the bird, I don't think it's so much that he was like, oh, a sign from God. No. It's situational awareness. He knew that birds love to go to the date trees and eat dates. And he knew that if a bird decided, you know, it was like, I want those dates, but there's something that I can't, that won't let me land there. He knew, okay, something's not good with that tree, so I should look. Lo and behold, he looked, found the sniper. So yeah, that's much more down to his situational awareness than anything else.
On an opponent by tricking a female Islamic State sniper into thinking that he had been hit and died by just playing dead. Then, when she looked away, he said psych and shot her in the head. Al Salhi loved his job in the military so much that when he was given a month off to go on holiday and relax, he only lasted 12 days before he went back out into the field. Al Salhi also had a motto that he would say a lot during interviews. One that is a little bit scary. Beware of old men in a profession where most die young. Despite what rumours...
Facts. Absolute facts. And this is something that's actually been concurrent throughout human history. You know, if there was like old warriors who were still warriors, there was a reason for that. More often than not, there was a very good reason for that. And underestimating those old warriors was always the death of many young warriors. So yeah, very apt, very apt. And it's a consistent thing. And it's also part of the grand narrative of humanity when it comes to war, essentially.
Spread among his faction, Al Salhi wasn't as invincible as they believed, as the Islamic State finally managed to kill him during his advance to retake and liberate Hawija. And the worst part of this is this was one of the last jihadist strongholds left. The war was pretty much over, and Al Salhi was killed right at the very end. Al Salhi died from his wounds on the 29th of September 2017 at the age of 63. Al Salhi's funeral was held the very next day in his home city of Basra, and he was laid to rest in the Valley of Peace. Thousands of people showed up to his funeral, and he became a revered martyr and national hero for Iraq. It doesn't all end badly, however. It turns out that despite his love for the military and how often he would be out in the field, Al Salhi was a massive shagger. He is survived by his 11 children, 5 girls and 6 boys. So he definitely wasn't firing blanks. And he has gone down as one of the greatest snipers in Iraqi history. During his years with the PMU, Al Salhi headshotted around 384 Islamic State members, averaging at around 4 kills per day. Now that's a hell of a KD ratio.
You damn Skippy. You damn Skippy. But what a beast. What a beast. Even though he fought against us, he later fought against ISIL, or ISIS, or whatever people want to call them. Daesh, or Dash as we referred to him. So yeah, like but what an incredible dude. But yeah, there we go, y'all. Absolute mad lads. The ISIS hunter, Abu Tahsin al Salhi. What did y'all think? What did y'all think? Me? He lived his life very well. He lived and died as a warrior. And he was an old man in a profession where many died young. And you know what? I think that most likely he died with a smile on his face, knowing he had done everything he could, and that he contributed to the safety and security of his family and his country, and his countrymen and women. So yeah. What did y'all think? Y'all let me know in the comments down below. All right. Y'all know what time it is. You like me, you like Count Dankula, you like this kind of content, then please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Then hit the real subscribe button called the notification bell so you get videos when I post them up. Or better yet, get into the Discord. The link will be in the description box down below. And on top of that, we got merch. We got merch. You'll see my angry face, on a bunch of it, which I think is hilarious. It's just me yelling to the ether, essentially. That's what it is. But yeah. And then why not become a member? You're still here. You're still watching. Thank you very much for your time. So why not become a member? There's 2 tiers. Okay human and decent human. Both of which are much cheaper than a cup of coffee. Set and forget. That's the easiest way and cheapest way to support the channel. So, that being said, be good. Be safe. Make it life for yourselves. And I will see y'all in the next one. Last Cat Badger out.